What is going on, everybody? I'm back again with another vlog, and today I'm in Hoboken, New Jersey, right across New York City, and I'm gonna walk a big street over here that has a lot of history. And back in 2010 it was named one of the top 10 best streets in the United States. So we're gonna walk around there. You're gonna see a lot of history, a lot of beautiful architecture, buildings, restaurants, shops. So I'm gonna walk the full length of it all the way to the end. It's about 16 blocks, so join me. So the name of that street is Washington Street, and like I say, it's about 16 blocks long, and it's pretty easy to get here. You know, if you're coming from New York City, you just take a commute from the PATH train all the way to Hoboken, get in the subway line, and it's about 10-15 minute commute. And it's a beautiful city also because it has beautiful architecture. I made a vlog here not much ago. It has a great view of the Hudson River and the New York City skyline. Like I say, it's right across from New York City, so let's explore this beautiful street. This is the beginning of the street, and it starts with the city hall over there, and a pretty developed street. You know, they got the bike lanes over there, and then the beginning of the street you're gonna see the famous original bakery, which are expanding all over, the Carlos Bakery. And then you start walking forward and you're gonna see shops and everything. You know, it's not too far from where I live, but I don't hang out here pretty often, but in the summertime, it's a really good vibe over here. So we're gonna keep walking. Like I said, I'm gonna walk the full length of the street. There you can see across the street the beautiful architecture. Then in the first floor, they got all the shops. And you can see like the bike lane over there. And what I like is that the sidewalks are pretty wide, you know. And they really preserve all this old building. It's like pretty nice. So it's like a really beautiful vibe when you walk around here, you know. And like I say, if you come in the summertime, a lot of young people hang out here. A lot of young professionals live in this town. And they usually call this city of Hoboken like the city of the 1 square mile. Because I think it's literally like 1 square mile, but it's like a city, you know. And it kind of makes you feel in some parts like if you're in New York City with all the brownstones and all the buildings. But yeah, pretty beautiful city. It's the middle of the winter, late January, but I'm taking advantage because the weather is like 45 degrees, which is pretty rare, but really gorgeous. So I'll take advantage of film here, and one day I'm gonna bring my bike and bike around the whole city because I think it's gonna be really cool, really fun. And then here you can see all this interesting things, all these restaurants, local shops. It's kind of like a little hipster vibe, you know. It's a little bit of a feel for Williamsburg and Brooklyn. This is the heart of New Jersey, and then across the street you're gonna see more shops, and it just keeps going, you know. So a lot of people think there's not much to do around New Jersey, or they just think about the Jersey Shore, but not too far from the city there's also things to do, you know, also neighborhoods to explore. And I think I'll take advantage of that too. There are a lot of towns in Hudson County that I want to explore that I've never been. And also one interesting thing is that a lot of towns in New Jersey, they have some of the highest population densities in the United States. I think more than New York. So it's like, you know, the streets are tight, but you see like a lot of people pile up living in the neighborhood. So I think that's pretty interesting at the same time. And I gotta say, it's literally like if you're walking in a playground of architecture and shops, like it just stops. And like I say, the streets are like, sidewalks are like so wide, and it's not as crowded as in New York City. So I think it makes it even better, but it still gets you a vibe like if you're in the city. But yeah, just look at all these buildings, how they preserve it. I think I love it. And then like in the first floor they got all the shops, so this is like the main street to go for people who live around here. Like I said, in the early 2010 this was named like the top 10 streets, one of the top 10 streets in the United States. So that is pretty cool, and I understand why. Then another interesting thing is that in every corner they got these things over here, and they're not plain, they have like a design. Let me see what's on the other side. Yeah, this one's a little bit more simple, but like every block that I walk, or most of the blocks that I walk here in Washington Street, those things over there, I think there's something with electricity. They decorated to make it look beautiful and not plain, so it kind of goes good with the neighborhood. And then I just can't get enough of all the shops here, how they are decorated different with the architecture. So no matter what side of the street, if you walk around here or if you walk in the other side, it's going to be an adventure, and you're going to enjoy it looking at all the architecture. If I go a little further, I think it turns a little bit more residential, and architecture is gonna get pretty interesting. This is what I'm saying. This is another one. This one is a nicer, you know, like a nice art. Thing in the back is even beautiful with all the colors. Yeah, really gorgeous. And then look how beautiful the streets are with the beautiful brownstones. And I love how developed the streets are, so organized. Then it's like a hill, and then over there it goes down, and you're gonna see a lot of brownstones. So I think you guys definitely, if you've never been here, I highly recommend that you guys come to Hoboken, because I think it's totally worth it. Like I say, I'm always gonna focus in the street here, Washington Street. But I got another video where I made a whole video about Hoboken, and I show you the waterfront. So if you want to check it out, it's gonna be over there linked. The city has like a mixture of a Brooklyn feel with Park Slope in some parts, but then if you go other parts, it kind of reminds you if you're in Philly, like Philadelphia or even Boston. So it's like a bunch of cities from the northeast connecting in one city over here. The city that's only like 1 square mile, like pretty small, but yeah. But yeah, like I say, this doesn't stop. Pretty huge street. But really now I want to bring my bike when the weather gets nice, because I know it's gonna be like an adventure, and I know I can capture some really good footage in the bike. But yeah, there's so many shops here, and so many like little restaurants and small business that you can try. Yeah, and I think this over here is gonna be pretty perfect for Instagram pictures.
Keep it on.
Walking here, I just discovered like a beautiful church. There's like a school that's not far from here. Then like a lot of students coming out of here, so.
Oh, GoPro!
Yeah, it's really beautiful. I think it's a school, so it's beautiful. And then like I said, architecture continues. It's like every single address over here has like its unique vibe. It's a unique architecture. And it's so important, and at some points it kind of reminds me of like if you're somewhere in Europe, especially like that white building over there. This one over here kind of, yeah, gives you a vibe like if you're, I don't know, at a country in Europe. Like I said, there's a lot of history with this street, or especially with this, you know, this town here in New Jersey. And then not far from here is also Jersey City, and they got the historic downtown, and it has a lot of similarities with this one. And I think you guys also to check it out, and it's convenient also with a PATH train, which is not far from New York City. Then I think in this corner is where it starts turning a little bit residential. Like in this side you still see the business, but then if you go over here it's more residential. So I think if I cross the street it's gonna be better, because I know when I Google Washington Street, that's when you're gonna see this thing. And this is still Washington Street, and then look at this, it's like a house. And then across the street, like I say, can't get enough of this building over here, just gorgeous. And the sky, I love it when it's blue, you know, gives you like a really nice vibe. But yeah, I'm loving it so far, and I think in the summer I'm gonna have to hang out more often in this town. And like I say, it's not too far from me, and it's so beautiful, you know. It's a little pricey too, but to visit around here and spend your time. And they do a lot of festivals also during the summer when the weather gets nice, so it is a really good vibe over here. And as I walk here, I love the entrance of this shop. Like it has like a different detail, you know.
Yeah, but it's.
And then you can see the beautiful architecture of the apartment complex on top. And then, like I said, across the street, it's mostly apartment buildings. And I still got a long way. I think it's literally like half of the way of what I walk. So you know this street is big. So it's funny because when you look at the map, it doesn't look like it's a big city, but when you walk in it, it feels like it's pretty long. Another thing that specializes this neighborhood over here is that they have like a lot of healthy options, organic stuff. Because, you know, a lot of people that live here, like I said, it's young people, professionals, and hipster vibes, so they like to keep themselves pretty healthy and active. So it kind of makes the neighborhood, you know, pretty interesting. And during Jersey and New York City, you're gonna see a lot of buildings that look like this, with that arc in the middle and the brick buildings. And then you get the typical brownstones. A little detour because this street looks pretty cool with that thing in the middle, and it says something about baseball. And then another thing I want to remind you guys, if you guys know who Frank Sinatra is, the guy that sang that song about New York, well, he's from here. He's from Hoboken. He was from here, so a Hoboken legend. So I'm here visiting his city, so that makes it pretty interesting. And then another thing, like in New York City, you could get a city bike. Here too, you can rent the city bikes and get around. And sometimes I see people that carry it in the PATH train to the city, so I think that's something that's pretty cool. And here, this apartment changed the colors, and the shops keep going. I say this is a big street. Washington Street is pretty big. It's so developed, so nice. And I know they have the outdoor dining, but I guess when the weather gets much better, then that's when they open it up and stuff. But yeah, you can have a blast just walking around here and exploring the street and the neighborhood. So then over here is another major street in Hoboken that crosses by Washington Street, which is 14th Street. I did a video over there, yeah, a couple of months ago, and it goes all the way up to Jersey City, especially Jersey City Heights. So it goes up the hill. So it's a pretty interesting street that you guys can explore around. So it's cool. So I'm just making this little detour to show you guys what's going on around here. And then we're just gonna go back to the main one that I started, Washington Street. And I don't know if you can see it, but over there I can see the Empire State Building. The Hudson River's over there, then Manhattan is on the other side. This must be like a bank or something, but I like the building. Classic, like I say, they don't make buildings like this anymore. I like the modern architecture. I like the modern architecture too, but you can't really compare it with the old designs of the buildings. Like I feel back in the day, there was like more details, you know, like more inspiration with the way how they used to make the buildings, so it made it pretty cool. So here I'm reaching literally like the end of Washington Street. Give you a 360 view of what I walk. Really interesting walk, you know. And I know this is a small town or city of 1 square mile, but I feel like it has a lot to offer and totally worth the visit. It could be probably one of the best 1 mile cities in the United States. I'm not scared to say that. But yeah, getting back to the ending. And if you go over there, you're gonna see the New York City skyline. So I might walk over there and do my grand finale. But you can see how nice and developed the streets are. And it's pretty easy for you to ride your bicycle. You know, pretty designed. So yeah, like I say, when the weather gets at least 10 more degrees higher, I gotta bring my bike and do a bike video here in Hoboken. So I think it's gonna be pretty worth it. Decided to come and end the video over here with this amazing view of the Hudson River, the Hudson Yards, Manhattan skyline. You can see how close it is. Like I say, it's right across the river. But yeah, a different vibe to see the city from another state. Then you can take the ferry from here to New York City, you know, breathtaking views. The closer I walk to the water, the colder it gets. But yeah, it's a really, really beautiful view. And over there you can see downtown, World Trade Center over there. Downtown over there, Midtown over this way. So that was the end of my video walking Washington Street in Hoboken. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more. Be safe out there, everybody. God bless y'all, and peace.